Who's hungry? I'm Mr. Beat, and I'm actually a little hungry right now. Does anyone have any food out there?
Here you go.
Thanks! I love bananas. This is great. Yeah. Sorry to go all bananas for a banana there. And sorry I just said that. So anyway, American presidents get hungry too, you know. In this video, we're going to look at the favorite food of every president in American history. We'll go chronological again because I know some of you want to skip ahead to Teddy Roosevelt because of course you do. That's right. This will be the most important video I have ever made. George Washington. The first president, and still my favorite president, loved roasted meats and apparently only foods that began with the letter H. Hazelnuts, hot chocolate, honey, and hoe cakes.
Daddy, you said a bad word.
No, hoe cakes are like pancakes. Fried cornbread, basically. Now, Washington apparently also really loved cherries. Overall, though, he preferred simple meals over big fancy ones. John Adams. Adams also preferred simple meals over fancy ones. Being from New England, Adams preferred New England foods, of course. In particular, codfish cakes and apple pan dowdy. Yeah, I had to Google them too, and they both look amazing. Thomas Jefferson. Mac and cheese. No joke. Jefferson apparently found out about macaroni when he traveled around Europe, and because he used to have it served to dinner guests when he was president, helped popularize it in the United States. I gotta say, I eat me some mac and cheese literally every week. Jefferson also loved fried potatoes, turnip greens, and Virginia ham, of course. James Madison. Well, we don't really know his favorite food, actually. He was a pretty private dude. However, his much less private wife, Dolly Madison, did popularize ice cream when she was First Lady. So, sure, let's go with ice cream as James Madison's favorite food. Oh, and specifically oyster ice cream, apparently. I didn't even know that was a thing. James Monroe. Monroe was known for having elegant dinners, but dessert was his favorite. His favorite food apparently was spoon bread, which is similar to bread pudding. Oh, you don't know what bread pudding is either? Well, imagine everything that tastes good, but is really bad for you, and mix it with bread in a pan. That's bread pudding. John Quincy Adams. Apparently, Adams didn't show much interest in food. Meh, he had much more important things to worry about than eating. That said, Adams loved fresh fruit so much that he planted a bunch of fruit trees in the White House yard. Andrew Jackson. Well, you know, since Jackson was so opposite of Adams, he loved food, of course. He served lots of it at parties. Famously, one time he served a 1,400-pound wheel of cheese at a White House shindig. Jackson loved to eat leather breeches. No, not literal leather breeches. I guess that's the name of a dish containing green beans cooked with bacon. For dessert, he loved blancmange, a concoction of cornstarch and milk. Martin Van Buren. Apples! Van Buren loved him some good apples, but not bad ones. And anything with apples in it. Apple donuts and apple cake in particular. He also loved oysters and pretty much any kind of meat in existence. I don't think he was a cannibal though. William Henry Harrison. Well, obviously, Harrison loved squirrel stew. Oh, don't be weird. People used to eat squirrel all the time, and they still do in certain parts of the world, like Alabama. And apparently Harrison's mom never had to force him to eat vegetables growing up since he actually quite enjoyed fresh vegetables. John Tyler. Puddin'. Tyler loved him some pudding. Pretty much every kind. And sugar pie. In fact, he served sugar pie so much to guests that the treat eventually became known as, quote, Tyler's pudding pie. James Polk. Not to sound all corny, but James Polk loved cornbread, and if Cracker Barrel existed when he was alive, he would love pretty much everything on its menu. For dessert, he loved vinegar pie, which sounds nasty to me, but I'm sure it tastes just fine. Zachary Taylor. Taylor loved both Southern and Creole food. Specifically, he was a big fan of rice callas, which I've never had but look amazing. Like John Quincy Adams, he was also a big fruit guy. In particular, cherries, which he apparently ate lots of right before he died in office. Millard Filmore. The more boring of a food it was, the more Filmore was attracted to it. His favorite two foods were apparently soup and stew. As it so happens, those are two of my least favorite foods. I should add that historians credit Filmore for modernizing the White House kitchen. Franklin Pierce. Pierce loved food, but he didn't host many dinner parties, so we have to speculate about what his favorite foods were. Likely they were New England classics like clam chowder, fried clams, and apple pie. James Buchanan. Buchanan did have many dinner parties with extravagant meals. That said, his two favorite foods I sure as heck didn't see coming. Butter, especially from Philadelphia, and, wait for it, cabbage. Ugh. Abraham Lincoln. I smell bacon. While he didn't eat much, the great Abraham Lincoln definitely developed an appetite for bacon, but also chicken fricassee, which is basically chicken simmered in some sauce. He also dug cornbread and gingerbread cookies for dessert. Andrew Johnson. He also loved Southern food, often what we call today, quote, comfort food. So yes, he would also love Cracker Barrel. Specifically, he loved a dish called Hoppin' John, which is a rice and pea-based concoction. All these foods I've never heard of. Ulysses Grant. Grant was a simple man who had simple tastes. His number one food, rice pudding. He actually had his own special recipe for a lemon-flavored variety of it. Rutherford Hayes. Speaking of special recipes, Hayes loved to eat, more than anything, his wife Lucy's cornmeal pancakes. Hayes was a disciplined eater, though, who never ate or drank too much. James Garfield. Garfield had a difficult time being able to eat anything, but when he did eat, he usually ate squirrel soup. That's right, the favorite food of not just one, but two American presidents was squirrel. Chester Arthur. No joke, Arthur's favorite food matched his facial hair. Mutton chops. He had a single chop for dinner most nights. Grover Cleveland. Oh, Cleveland was all about extravagant meals, and he'd eat most of what was in front of him. However, his favorite foods were corned beef and cabbage and pickled herring, apparently. Well, that's kind of gross. But we have our first seafood president, though, so that's exciting. Benjamin Harrison. Harrison was another corny president, although we don't know many details about his eating habits. He loved corn and anything associated with it, really. His family often did enjoy huge feasts while they lived in the White House. At one feast, they served, turtle. Yeah. William McKinley. If it was an animal, McKinley probably liked to eat it. Again, there is no evidence that he was a cannibal. In addition to meat, he was a big breakfast guy. And so am I. In fact, I often eat breakfast for dinner, which I call Brenner. You got a problem with that? Anyway, McKinley even became known for serving big breakfasts at the White House, and a special kind of egg casserole that became known as the, quote, McKinley omelet. Theodore Roosevelt. Roosevelt also loved meat, but especially steak and fried chicken. He supposedly was known to be able to take down more than a whole chicken in a single sitting. The Colonel would be proud. And I came across his 42nd birthday dinner. First course, Blue Point oysters. Second course, green turtle soup, clear celery olives, sweet sherry. Third course, timbale of peanut ham. Fourth course, crab flake I.A. Newburgh. Fifth course, filet of beef, Dickinson green peas, fresh mushrooms, sous cloche, which means under glass. Sixth course, quail and bread sauce, salad Roman punch. Dessert cakes, confectionery, biscuit tortoni, coffee, appropriate wines with each course. I've decided that I would like to have the exact same preparations made for my 42nd birthday dinner. William Taft. Steak and potatoes, baby. Those are staples. Taft would apparently eat a 12-ounce steak with breakfast, lunch, and dinner each day, and sometimes he'd have 2 with dinner. Right on. Woodrow Wilson. Like Ulysses Grant, Wilson had simple tastes, and he mostly ate the same type of stuff. Due to ongoing health issues during his presidency, he ate 2 raw eggs and drank a glass of grape juice for breakfast every morning. He also liked to eat chicken salad. Warren Harding. Another probable Cracker Barrel boy. Harding loved what we would call, quote, comfort food. In particular, he dug chicken pot pie and knockwurst and sauerkraut. Come to think of it, he was more of a pub-style finger food type of fella. Calvin Coolidge. Coolidge was a unique dude and probably had more unique ideas about food than any other president. First of all, he called all meals, quote, supper. Second, he would eat at weird times of the day, often sneaking bites of whatever he could grab at meetings, especially pickles. Third, he mixed random food together that should not be mixed together. Fourth, he was one of the earliest American adopters of eating Chinese food. I could go on, but that's a little sample there of his quirks. In addition to pickles, his favorite foods were his wife Grace's chicken chop suey, chicken chow mein, and apple pie made with pork? Herbert Hoover. Hoover loved a Thanksgiving favorite, sweet potatoes topped with marshmallows. He even had his own special recipe. He often served elegant meals at the White House, at least before the economy went to crap during his presidency. Franklin Roosevelt. FDR loved the same food as most American kids, apparently. Yep, he loved grilled cheese sandwiches, hot dogs, and scrambled eggs more than anything, but he also regularly ate fish chowder. Harry Truman. More than anything, Truman loved his mom's fried chicken. And I have to agree, my mom is the best cook ever. Truman also loved well-done steak and meatloaf. No, not that meatloaf, rest in peace. Yes, Truman liked that meatloaf, as long as it didn't have onions, dadgummit. Dwight Eisenhower. Not only was Eisenhower a food connoisseur, he was also a pretty darn good cook. Eisenhower and his wife Mamie may have been the first in the White House to regularly eat their meals on TV trays while checking out the tube. Speaking of Mamie, Dwight's favorite dessert was her $1 million fudge. He also enjoyed corn pudding. John Kennedy. Like any real New Englander, JFK loved clam chowder. Chowder. Kennedy also loved seafood for dinner, but similar to Abraham Lincoln, apparently never ate that much. There I go again with all those Lincoln and Kennedy coincidences. Lyndon Johnson. LBJ loved some of that extra spicy deer sausage. Heck yeah. But really, if it was anything spicy, he probably liked it. He also loved barbecue, chicken fried steak with mashed potatoes and gravy, cornbread, grits, and pretty much all Mexican food. Dang, I'm getting hungry now. Richard Nixon. Nixon famously had a weird habit of eating cottage cheese and ketchup for breakfast. And of course, there was also Nixon's secret meatloaf, the meatloaf. No, not that meatloaf. Rest in peace. Yes, that meatloaf. Gerald Ford. Ford's favorite dinner was a pot roast with red cabbage, followed by his favorite dessert of butter pecan ice cream. He also enjoyed English muffins. Jimmy Carter. Like LBJ before him, Carter loves grits and has eaten them nearly every day of his entire 97 years on this earth. Carter even had a dog named Grits, born on the same day he was elected president. Ronald Reagan. Reagan famously loved jelly beans, specifically Jelly Bellies, which he always had a jar of on his desk. In fact, 3.5 tons of red, white, and blue Jelly Bellies were shipped to Washington, D.C. for his 1981 inauguration festivities. At one point during his presidency, more than 300,000 jelly beans were bought each month to be placed all over the White House, Capitol Building, and other federal buildings. And that's it. He only liked jelly beans. Okay, he liked other food too, but jelly beans got all the attention. George H.W. Bush. We know that Bush Sr. loved pork rinds, and similar to Reagan increasing the popularity of Jelly Bellies, Bush helped increase the popularity of pork rinds. Apparently Bush was more vocal, however, about his least favorite food. Yeah, it's quite well known that Bush hated broccoli, once saying, quote, "I am the President of the United States and I am not going to eat any more broccoli." Bill Clinton. Clinton famously loves cheeseburgers, or at least he used to. Specifically, he has been a fan of McDonald's cheeseburgers, and even went there when he was president. He also loves their Egg McMuffin breakfast sandwich.
I just want to thank you for stopping by again.
Well, thank you, Kevin. You got a real American family place here. Is it too late for an Egg McMuffin?
George W. Bush. Cheeseburgers? How about cheeseburger pizza? That'd be a favorite of George Bush Jr. Yep, while in the White House, his favorite request for dinner was a simple margarita pizza topped with beef, bacon, tomatoes, cheese, pickles, ketchup, and mustard. Bush also loves Tex-Mex food, as he should. Barack Obama. While Bush Sr. hated broccoli, apparently Obama loves broccoli, but he also loves cheeseburgers too. That said, he prefers the more sophisticated, higher quality burgers over McDonald's burgers and nachos. Obama loves nachos too. Donald Trump. Well, let's keep this burger trend going. Trump not only loves burgers, but fast food in general. He digs the Big Mac and Filet-O-Fish at McDonald's in particular, but no fries, no fries. Here is one of my favorite pictures of him, by the way. Oh, and here he is with a wonderful bucket of chicken. Joe Biden. Finally, it's well known that our current president loves his ice cream.
My name is Joe Biden, and I love ice cream. You all think I'm kidding, I'm not.
But apparently, he likes fast food just as much as his predecessor. So that's it. That was every president's favorite food. And perfect timing, because I just finished my banana. So that means I need another banana. Does anyone have a banana? May I please get another banana? This is a banana emergency. Where did my banana providers go? Hello? Banana. Do you use Facebook, Meta, to log into new websites or applications just because it's faster and easier? Have you ever wondered what could happen if your Facebook account was hacked? Enter NordPass, baby. This video is in fact sponsored by NordPass, and it can protect you from hackers. It's the essential cybersecurity tool that will make your life easier and safer. And it's more than a password manager that stores all your passwords in one place. It has an autofill feature. It generates complex secure passwords. It makes shopping and browsing online faster. It can tell you whether or not your credit card information has been linked or any passwords have been compromised. If your passwords are too weak, it recommends changing them. Hey, speaking of which, did you know that 123456 is still the most popular password in the world? You all better cut that crap out. And even NordPass can't see your passwords either because they are stored in your encrypted vault. Overall, NordPass is a powerful tool to ease your anxiety. Try it out for yourself. Get 50% off a 2-year NordPass premium plan at nordpass.com/MrBeat, or just use the code MrBeat. Plus, you get an additional month for free. And if you don't like it, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks to NordPass for sponsoring this video. And I actually am kind of hungry right now. Hey, does anyone have any food? Oh. So what is your favorite food? Seriously, I'm curious. My favorite food is pizza, obviously. What, you thought I was gonna say bananas? That's bananas. Why would I say bananas? Also, what other presidential themed video would you like me to make? I've been making more of these lately because they do pretty well. And speaking of which, the next presidential themed video will be a live stream with vlogging through history. Him and I are going to collaborate to combine our presidential tier lists and make one that we both can agree on. That will be on President's Day Live, so be sure to check that out. You are tubular for watching.